I, 74 male, have a son who's 47 male who got arrested for a DUI over 15 years ago, and he's unable to find a regular job. He has ADHD, is married and has 2 daughters. I hired him in my small business, which is an office setting, many years ago to give him a job for his family. I've trained him, given him ample opportunity to be successful, and allowed him to hire multiple members of his wife's family and friends. I'm still keeping the business afloat for him financially, and his wife works a well-paying full-time job. They bought almost $1 million house this year and spent money rapidly, like putting their kids in multiple travel sports, which cost several $1,000s a year. I'm not one to tell them how to spend their money, but I'm providing context for the story. My son and I had an agreement that I would receive a percentage on any new clients we find, which I have found myself. I've had my business for over 50 years. I enjoy working, but being 74, I get tired and stressed easily, but it keeps my mind occupied. My wife and I recently purchased a small home, and my son came over to help me move a fridge. He started yelling and swearing at me this past week and told me I was spending too much from the business with my wife and our new home. I hired some contractors to paint and put in new floors. He told me he was only giving me $9,000 of a $36,000 payment I'm owed. Edit, I'm using my own money on my house repairs. He stated that I'm spending too much of my own money on house repairs. He was criticizing how my wife and I spend our money in general. He took 4 trips last year. My wife and I haven't been away at all. I told him to get out, and he had a big outburst, swearing, carrying on, and stressing me out. He doesn't even do his job, and I always do the brunt of the work. I've decided to take my business back and all my clients and work independently. He can figure the rest out himself. I'm tired of his lack of commitment. He and his wife have also alienated my other children and family due to their awful drama and bullying tactics. They didn't attend a family event over the weekend. Honestly, it was the most fun I've had in a long time. My younger son and daughter both refused to be around this son and wife due to how awful they've treated them. My daughter hasn't attended a holiday in 2 years because of this son and his wife, and she finally came this past weekend and we had a great time. Am I the idiot to cut my son out of my business? Not the idiot. He has no right to tell you how to spend your money or withhold any money from you. Cut him out of the business. He can find a new job. Presumably, he has the experience to put on a resume from all the years you employed him. A single DUI does not make someone unemployable. That is an excuse. And ADHD is also not an excuse to not work. It's a reason you have to work harder. Nobody said life was fair. Time to suck it up. ADHD is challenging, but that's life. It doesn't stop me from being a lawyer, and it shouldn't stop your son from working either. He needs to grow up. Enabling him is not helping him. Speak to a lawyer to make sure all of this is done properly. Also, consider updating your wills. If you want to retire fully, then start looking at selling your business, and don't sell to family. This son is clearly the golden child, gets trained and takes over the family business while the other two... You are the idiot for letting it get to this point. You've seen that your son couldn't take over the business. You've seen him use you as a personal ATM without even doing the work, and you still plan to give him the business? Why? You have a lot of groveling to do. You should apologize to your other children for favoring him for so long. You've already given your entitled son his part of the inheritance. He bought a house worth $1 million, for heck's sake. It's time for him to stand on his own 2 feet now. Honestly, it looks like OP doesn't give a damn when his son wasn't angry, didn't care when his son and daughter-in-law were alienating his other children, and it's only now, when the son is affecting OP, that he's willing to do something about it. Both OP and the son's family sound insufferable. My parents had me, a teen female, when they were 18 and 19. They always made it evident that they resented being parents so young and added that they never tried to be good parents. I typically spend most of my time at friends' houses. I don't have extended family to rely on. They disowned my parents for having me so young. So friends' houses were a positive in my life that made me feel more comfortable than being at home with my parents. My parents never did the typical parent stuff like helping with homework or showing up to support me at school. I don't think they ever attended a parents' conference for me. They ignored a lot of stuff I needed to get signed, and I'd have to get right in their face on the last day to get signatures. My birthday and Christmas have never been a big deal or celebration. They do celebrate their wedding anniversary, but that's a them thing. When they told me 2 years ago they were expecting a baby, it really surprised me. But then it hurt because sometimes they said stuff that made me feel like I didn't exist, like how they were so excited to have a baby and how they couldn't wait to be parents. A friend of my mom's did remind her of me, but then she and Dad said I was basically the too early practice run and this was the real deal. When my sister was born, they were so attentive to her that I ceased to exist completely. I got sick and my school was trying to call someone to pick me up early, but they ignored the calls, and when I got home, they'd taken the baby out for a family day. When they got home, they hadn't even realized the school had called because they'd turned their phones off to enjoy family time. My mom quit her job a month after my sister was born. She wants to be a stay-at-home mom, and she and Dad want at least one more kid. My dad leaves work early on Fridays to spend more time with the family, mom and sister. My parents tried to have another kid for over a year and my mom isn't pregnant yet, so they're jumping to fertility treatments. They told me I needed to watch my sister for a few hours every week while they attended those appointments, and they gave me this detailed list of stuff she needed and what I was going to do with her. I told them I wouldn't and that they had her, so they needed to take care of her because she's not my kid. My parents told me it's a few hours a week and not a huge deal. Dad told me I needed to consider it as paying back all they did for me. I said no and told them they didn't care about me, so why would I want to help them? Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Neglecting to pick you up when you're sick and calling your life a practice run is such a horrible thing to get from your parents, and I'm sorry. This is totally their fault. People have kids at younger ages than they did and still manage to be decent parents. I hope you remember that this reflects the horrible people they are and in no way related to you as a person. Work hard and be able to leave as soon as you legally can. The best revenge will be to lead a good life and cut all contact with them once you can at 18. Yep, one of my best friends had her first kid at 18. She got pregnant at 17. And she would never treat her kid like this. I'm sure she's made parenting mistakes, but normal mistakes, not full-blown neglect and emotional abuse. It's wild to think Opie's parents had it hard and treated their kid like they don't exist when, yeah, lots of families have it hard. They still remember their kids' birthdays and take time off for them. Again, I'm sorry about your defective parents. They sound emotionally stunted. I, 28 male, was dating Kelly, 27 female, for 3 years and planning to propose with an engagement ring and a luxury vacation. However, her best friend, Nat, 27 female, was always a problem. From the start, Nat disliked me and tried to break us up by falsely accusing me of cheating and convincing Kelly I was controlling. This caused many arguments, but Kelly always defended Nat. In January, I reached my limit. We were celebrating my birthday and Kelly invited Nat despite my objections. Nat dominated the conversation, talking about her financial issues. I asked Kelly to intervene, but when she tried, Nat accused her of not caring and then attacked me, calling me controlling. I lost my temper, calling her a manipulative witch. The day was ruined, and back home I gave Kelly an ultimatum: either me or Nat. Kelly argued it was unfair to make her choose. We fought, and when Kelly said I provoked Nat by insulting her, I told her to leave. After threatening to call the cops, she finally left. I packed Kelly's belongings, including everything I'd bought for her since she'd lived off my money for 2 years. I texted her to pick up her things, and when she arrived, I handed them over without speaking. Later, Nat texted, calling me a jerk for keeping the gifts. Kelly also texted, calling me stingy. Angry, I sent her photos of the expensive engagement ring and vacation tickets I'd bought to show what she'd missed out on because of Nat. Then I blocked her. In September, Kelly showed up at my place looking awful and begged me to take her back. She admitted she'd made a huge mistake. After we broke up, she got her own apartment but realized how manipulative Nat was. Nat kept guilt-tripping her into giving her money and eventually moved in with Kelly after getting evicted. Things got worse. Nat started using sugar, invited shady people over, and Kelly noticed cash and valuables, including her grandmother's necklace, were stolen. When she confronted Nat, Nat physically assaulted her, and 2 days later, Kelly was evicted because of Nat's behavior. Now, homeless, jobless, and broke, Kelly apologized, saying she would do anything to get back together. I felt a sense of satisfaction and told her it was karma for choosing Nat over me. I asked her to leave, threatening to call the police if she didn't. Kelly told mutual friends, and they think I was too harsh given her situation. They suggest I apologize or even consider taking her back. Now I'm conflicted. Should I apologize to keep the peace with my friends, or am I justified in not taking her back or apologizing? Am I the idiot? not the idiot. She picked her toxic friend over you and now she's facing the fallout. You don't owe her anything. Honestly, it's hard not to feel a little satisfied after all that. No need to apologize or take her back, just move on and be done with it. By the way, mutual friends are welcome to take Kelly into their homes. Wonder how that would end up. When she let Nat attack and assault you at your own birthday party and did absolutely nothing to stop her, that let you know right then and there she didn't love you. She may have loved your support of the things you gave her, but no one who loves you would have allowed that to happen, much less made excuses for it and blamed you, the victim. That was her mask slipping. Her life falling apart isn't your problem. It's her karma. Take a witness, record the conversation, and let her know you will block her and file a restraining order against her and Nat if she contacts you again. Update: I met Kelly for a few hours. I realized I was in the wrong for holding my financial problems as a point of contention. I told Kelly that I was sorry for how I responded to hearing her struggles. I also said that I'd struggled to come to terms with the fact she'd chosen Nat over me. I said it was impossible for us to get back together, but that I would help her for old time's sake. I've decided to help her with the rent for a small place for 6 months. I told her not to get her hopes up about getting back together. I also told her that if she got involved with Nat again, I would have no choice but to withdraw my support. She got emotional, apologized for everything that happened, and promised to stay away from Nat. She expressed her gratitude and said she would respect my wishes this time. We parted on a good note and she thanked me for caring for her after everything she had done. A few mutual friends learned about our talk a few minutes after we parted. Some called and chastised me for not taking her back. I was done with them at that point. I've cut the 3 of them who said I was an entitled jerk for not taking her back. I'm hoping that Nat stays out of the way this time. I have a daughter, a teen. She was always happy with her school and had good friends. Some years ago, when my son was her age, I switched him to an elite private school. This is not because I thought the education was better, but because they follow an international curriculum based on the UK system, and this is helpful for applying to international universities that recognise the system. My son will be studying engineering abroad. When my son changed schools, my daughter said she was happy not to switch schools and that it would be hard to make new friends, etc. However, since he started attending, she's gotten jealous and started reading his textbooks, especially the science ones, and going through things like the yearbook. She's now upset with me because I refused to switch her to the school even though she said she was happy where she was at the time. While I can afford it, the education isn't really better, and I only sent my son there so that foreign universities recognise the credentials better. Furthermore, the school environment would be quite different. She goes to a girls-only school and this is co-ed. Most of the girls at the school are foreigners with different values and usually the kids of diplomats and embassy workers. The boys are either the kids of diplomats or the ultra-rich locals, and I'm concerned this could cause her to either not fit in or lose her morals. Am I the idiot here? You say the school isn't any better and claim you sent your son there so that foreign universities recognise the credential better. So it is better, clearly. You just don't see your daughter going to university, let alone one abroad. Why is that? Do you always undermine her? Could cause her to either not fit in or lose her morals. Why are you not concerned with your son losing his morals? What are these other children getting up to that you don't want your daughter getting up to? Overall, you're misogynistic. That's what it is. You view your daughter in a different light than your son. You can make this right by sending her to a better school. Oh, while you're at it, apologise to her as well. Especially because she was checking the science books, and even though she liked her current school with her current friends, she wanted to switch schools. This is not mere jealousy. She wasn't checking the pastry menu, she was checking the educational text. She clearly has the drive for education. OP's son is clearly the golden child here. I want to know how different the siblings have grown up. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that girls need more education and credentials than men, not the reverse. This is because the world is misogynistic, so they need to be better qualified to be able to be safe in the world. My education saved me from homelessness after my dad died. Think about what happens to her when you're not always around. My parents are divorced and my sister, tween female, and I, teen male, split time between mom's house and dad's house. Our older brother, nearly adult male, lives with dad now. My mom is married and has stepkids and younger bio kids with her husband. They struggle financially and because of money issues they don't have a lot of food at home. They get help from food pantries, but they still don't have a lot of food or food choices, and some of it is older and not fresh or tasty. This isn't enough to change custody. I'd like to live with Dad, and so would my sister. My brother felt the same. The judge doesn't want to take what we want into account when we're under 18, and I know that from my brother, and the money issues and food issues didn't make a difference either. We were in court last month, and the judge said shared custody continues. Dad gave us the keys to his house, and he always said we could go to his house after school and eat if we wanted to. So I took my sister and we ate there. My step and half siblings go to my mom's house, and they normally wait until their dad or my mom gets home for dinner since there isn't always enough food after school. We all qualify for free school lunches, except for the younger kids who go to daycare. My mom's husband found out what we were doing the other week because he saw my sister and me leave Dad's house and walk back to his and Mom's house. He got out of work early. He told Mom, and she confronted me about what we were doing at Dad's, and then she asked if we got food there. I didn't say yes, but she figured it out, and she told me it was disgusting to only take my sister or to bring back nothing for the other kids. She told me I should be ashamed. She yelled at Dad too. She told me I was wrong to do something like that in such a selfish way, and she even asked me how I could do that every other week, knowing I have siblings at her house that don't eat after school until dinner. Her husband was super angry too because he knew Dad could afford for us to take stuff for the other kids, but we didn't. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. It isn't your dad's responsibility to feed anybody else's kids. The judge won't do anything because he's limited to operating within the confines of the law as it's written. Someone has to file a complaint against the mom for negligence for it to be logged with the court. Call CPS or go to your school's social worker to explain that you and your sister are not provided adequate food at your mom's house. Food restriction is something that CPS takes very, very seriously. She told you that you should be ashamed. She was the one who should be ashamed of not being able to provide for her kids. She should be ashamed of not letting you live with the parent who is capable of taking care of you. For what reason? What kind of parent puts their pride above their children's comfort? And your stepfather, who had more kids, can pay for wanting your dad to feed kids who are not his. Doesn't he feel ashamed? I'm so sorry you're dealing with this nonsense. You have done absolutely nothing wrong. Continue to go to your dad's after school.